Hello and
This is my labor of love, my big notebook. It's an interactive children's notebook for elementary school age kids. It's like the starter kit for their mental health toolkit. What we want to do is eliminate the stigma of mental health within our community. And with this book, it teaches kids to express their feelings in a healthy way. Sometimes we're not okay. And if we're not okay, we need tools and techniques to help us get through. My big notebook can be used with a child on their own. They can use it with a therapist or a trusted adult or in a group with other children. It basically walks them through different techniques they can use with stories from my son JC's life. It teaches them techniques like square breathing. It has journaling and coloring pages. And essentially, this is like self-care for kids. This book means everything to me because it is from the life of my son JC and me. We put this book together to help children, and I'm so very thankful for it. And my big goal is to get my big notebook in the hands of every elementary school age child in the country. So check out My Big Notebook by JC and me, Carla Carlisle.
hello and welcome to this virtual launch and event. Very special panel discussion and seminar, all surrounding My Big Notebook. Hi, welcome. My name is Totlyn Oliver, and I'm your host for this event that is coming to you live right now. And if you are going to be able to watch this replay, we are so happy that you're able to join us. It is my very special pleasure to take part in this event where we come to you to share with you some of the results of working through the whole experience of helping our young people or children deal with traumas that they may experience during all of their early lives, maybe in the classroom, maybe at play, in the community. So it's a very, very special event that we have bringing to you where we have industry experts discussing the importance of managing our children's mental health and well-being. You heard me mention about My Big Notebook. Help me welcome at this time to our screens the convener and the co-author of My Big Notebook. She is none other than Carla Carlisle. She's a child advocate, an award-winning author, and a trauma expert. Please help me welcome Carla. Hi, how are you doing today?
Hey, how are you? Come on back in. And here's JC with me.
It's good to see you, JC. It is great to see you as we come together to talk about this very, very special issue in our society today. And it doesn't matter if you're watching in the United States of America, Canada, South America, Europe, India, China, Japan, Africa. It does not matter where you are.
That's right.
What you have found, Carla, is that the contents of My Big Notebook, you have found that it works in literally every young child's life. And of course, as you mentioned in the opening, it's about your child's life, JC.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So JC is 12 years old and he is the subject of My Big Notebook.
Mhm.
And I just have to say, what an awesome experience to work on this book together with my son. And it really was a family affair. Later on, you'll meet Quatavia Jones, who'll be talking to JC, and she's a big part of our family. And also her oldest daughter, Quadasia Prescod, is our book illustrator. So it's really a family affair. We brought together today some great experts who are going to talk about children's mental health and just to, look at this guy right here, and a number of things. But we just want to share all that we've learned. And as we continue to learn and grow, we want to share that with others, just to help people add to their toolkits as we're supporting our kids.
You know what? I think it's a fantastic idea. Number one, for you to actually have your fingers along with JC's penning this, so this great resourceful tool. And of course, JC, you are a brand new young author, so there's so many feathers in your cap. And we also must mention that this book has been winning awards. Yes. How many awards have we been winning, yes, Carla and JC?
Yes, so we have 2 awards. One is the Mom's Choice Award, which is here, this gold seal on the book. And that's for family content. And then we also won, can you show it closer? Here, let's move it this way. Here, let go for 1 second. There we go. The Hermes Creative Award, we were a 2022 Platinum winner. And so that is a huge honor. And thanks to our publisher, Spark Publications, for nominating us for that award. And I'm just so humbled that we were awarded the Platinum winning award.
Yeah. And look at it. When you all started this, JC, when you were going through your stuff, you never knew that awards were coming. Huh?
No, I didn't. It caught me by surprise.
I love your confidence, sir. I love your confidence. Now, as you watch our program right now, we want you to be making notes. We want you to be compiling your questions. We want you to definitely reach out to us. We have a monitor monitoring your questions so that we can address these questions before we wrap up. We will be here for roughly an hour, and we're going to be listening to these discussions with our industry experts coming your way in just a moment. We also will be having very special offers for workshops, and we have very special offers for book for you to purchase your books. And also we have very special offers where we will invite you to reach out to our experts, reach out to Carla, reach out to Glenn, reach out to everyone who you will be seeing and hearing from. Reach out, and you can definitely follow up with us. So you want to stay tuned. You want to keep track with what we're doing here right now, so you never ever miss any opportunity that we are about to share with you. So welcome again if you're just joining. This is a very special virtual event as we look to take care of our children's mental health and well-being. Thank you so much for joining us. So as we move along, I want to introduce our next 2 guests who are serious, very serious industry experts in the persons of Glenn Proctor and Kathy Rogers. We want to say hello and welcome to Glenn. And he is a suicide prevention instructor, a 2-time Pulitzer Prize winner, retired newspaper executive, and he's a former Marine. Yes. Or he is a U.S. Marines gunnery sergeant, Vietnam veteran, leadership coach, and speaker. Thank you so much for your service, Glenn. Thank you so much. And next, we introduce to you Kathy Rogers. She has over 25 years as a nonprofit executive. She's a certified QPR suicide prevention instructor. She's also a member of the Mental Health America's National Affiliate Relations Committee and the North Carolina Mental Health Coalition U-City Family Zone. So, when we come about talking about this very, very serious issue, of children's mental health and well-being, we do have persons with experience. So just to let you know, you're tuned in to a very, very special event here right now. Now, what I'd like to do is to introduce both individuals. I'd love to start our discussion off for Glenn and Kathy by asking, thank you so much that you're here with us, first of all. And I want us to discuss how important it is for us to introduce and encourage our children to handle their emotions and everything that they go through creative expression. So, welcome again, Kathy.
Thank you.
Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're really thrilled to be here. I always think about the quote from Picasso. He said, every child is an artist. And the problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. So I think children just innately are free to express themselves creatively, but then we kind of hammer that out of them as they grow up and enforce, routine and regiment. And part of that is important, but also I think it's important to continue to encourage young people to be creative, to be able to express themselves, because at an early age, often that's how they do communicate, is through drawing or other creative ways. So I think this topic is very important. And my big notebook is just an amazing tool that allows young people to explore their creativity, but from a mental health standpoint.
Thank you. I concur. I concur very much with Kathy. I wrote down 4 words: creative, informative, sensitive, and timely.
Mm-hmm.
My big notebook, a shout out to JC and Carla. Carla and I have worked together on a lot of projects and continue to do so. And so I appreciate, having this program, but also the work that JC and Carla put into providing this guidebook, which, as I just stated, it's informative, it's creative, it's sensitive, and it's definitely timely based on where society is right now and where a lot of our young people are. Too many days I get calls or hear about situations that, that are not good for our young people, and as a grandfather and, of many nieces that are, in that teenage group, this is such a welcome and worthy topic. So we'll await questions, but thanks everyone for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks Carla and JC for allowing this program to take place.
Yes, I think it's so critical, especially with schools just reopening in the United States of America. It's very, very critical. And I know schools will be opening for the fall season, maybe between now and September. Already colleges have reopened to accommodate, this new fall, the new semester. So for us to start off the school year having this very critical discussion is very, very key. One question I have to pose to both of you is this. In reading my big notebook, what stands out to each of you? What hit you when you read the book and you said, you know what, this is so good? There are many good points, but what stood out for each of you? Kathy, Glenn.
You want me to go, Glenn? I'll jump in. Thank you for that question. Often we make mental health to be so complex. And what I love about my big notebook is the simplicity of it.
You stole my word.
Well, sorry. But I think we often think about mental health and we often go to the negative first versus thinking about taking care of our mental health just as we would our physical health. So we encourage our children to eat right, to get enough sleep, to exercise, take their vitamins. And so what my big notebook does is kind of give them a positive message of ways to express emotions in a healthy way. So I know that, you know, art has been used to help young people maybe experiencing trauma to express negative emotions, but it can also be a great wellness practice. And I've told Carla many times that this is for children, but I think adults can get so much out of it as well. We can go through here and do our affirmations and do a lot of things that are in the book.
Thank you so much. That makes very, very good sense. Glenn, I know she stole your word simplicity.
I know. Yeah,
but you know what?
Great minds think
Your
alike.
own creative
yes.
Pulitzer Prize winning expression. You're able.
Yes, there are 1.5 million words in the English language, and I'm still going to use simplicity. But yes, you know, I'm reading one thing. You know, I learned that this is a big circle, call it a cycle, but whatever. My thoughts lead to my feelings, and then I act on them. Thoughts are what pop into my head. Feelings are what is in your heart. Actions are things that you do. Passages like that, you know, going back to the word, are just very understandable to young people. And yes, I'm glad that it's not filled with, you know, medical jargon or you know, or even societal jargon. You know, in fact, right before this call, I got off the phone with some academics from the American Association of Suicidology, and a bunch of them are PhDs. And of course, their language was out of this world. And if they were talking to any young people, they would have never gotten it. So that's why breaking it down into the lowest common denominator, you know, sentences and words is absolutely necessary to help us, you know, spread the word and, you know, and our bottom line in breaking the stigma.
I was gonna say that, Glenn, that what this book does is begin to normalize the conversation about our feelings and our mental health at an early age. And the earlier that we can do that, we can break stigma, we can make it a normal part of our conversation. Again, it should be as easy to talk about our mental health as we talk about our physical health. So giving young people tools at an early age can really help them develop coping strategies. And there's a lot of that in this book that I think, and again, I, you know, could use some of these tools myself. And I'm seeing a lot on the board, the banners about adverse childhood experiences as well.
That's correct.
We're always asking young people, what's wrong with you? You know, instead of asking them what happened to you, and allowing them to express, you know, what they're feeling or maybe something that they're dealing with.
You know,
there's nothing
that is
wrong with them.
right. And I love how you say that, because we tend to default to what we heard being said to us. Even if it was not being said directly to us, it's being said to our classmates around us.
Right.
Even if we ourselves have not experienced one type of trauma or other, and we all have, sometimes we don't even recognize that it is trauma. So I'm going to ask you both, what are some of these things, as minuscule as they may appear, that can and could be labeled trauma that affects a child's behavior, emotional stability, well-being, and that sort of thing?
Well, one thing that, ACEs talks about is, and for all the for everybody on the call, adverse conditions, but it's 10 things that kind of point out how you've grown up, kind of how you lived, how you were treated, and in doing so, it talks about, were you hungry? It talks about, was there fighting in your home? There's, very, very major things, but also some things that we take a lot for granted. And and I think, like, we've been talking about, the more we can break it down to smaller bits, the better. But anything, if a child hears screaming, or if a child has the wrong clothes, because there's a lot of bullying and situations going on within schools. Um, so all these things that parents and we adults may think it's a small thing, but to a kid, it's a big, big thing. And that's what we have to look out for. That's why we have to ask that question. And, I'll take it a step further. I've started asking, well, young people as well as adults, you know, it's part of the how are you, but it's how are you today? And, that breaks it down, because yesterday may have been a good day. Today may be a not good day, or vice versa. So the questioning, as Kathy talked about, what happened to you is very, very, very important for all of us who train, but all of us who are on this call, and all adults in general.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Glenn. And for you, Kathy, is there anything you'd like to add to Glenn's submission of some things that we adults may think is like, oh, what you worried about?
Right.
Yeah.
And for a child, it can be, they haven't developed the tools to cope, with different stressors, different things that are creating anxiety in them. At the end of 2021, the Surgeon General issued a public health advisory around the youth mental health crisis, which was fairly unprecedented, which just goes to show how much our young people are struggling right now with their mental health and dealing with the different stressors. We know the pandemic brought on additional stress for all of us, but especially our youth. When I think about trauma and ACEs, we always think about the word resilience. And I have one of our staff, one of our team members here at MHA, who talked about one time that to her, resilience is a sad word. And it really did make me think about how much trauma, how much pain do we have to go to build resilience? We do need it, but what do we have to deal with? What did we have to go through to become so resilient? And I wish that young people didn't have to be so resilient, all the time. And so I just love the concept of my big notebook and really focusing on creative expression, which can allow young people, can allow all of us to really look at the beauty and the possibilities of the world, versus all the ugliness that's out there that we know we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But, really focusing on creativity and positive messaging.
I thank you so very much, both of you, for sharing your take on my big notebook and why the importance of this book coming forward at a time such as this. One of our viewers wanted to say to you, they love the submission of, instead of saying, what's wrong with you? Ask instead, what happened to you?
Right.
I've had to do that when I have been in the classroom working with young children. I had a little boy come up to me once and said, oh, I have anger issues. By the end of the day, he came and sat quietly by my desk and said, you didn't even get upset with me. So you're right.
Yeah.
I'm like, who told you? You don't pay rent. You're not paying a mortgage. What's the point?
Right.
Thank you for Patterson Education for tuning in from the Northeast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We have more to come. We want to thank you so much, Kathy and Glenn. Please let us know how we can reach out to you. I see we have a resource here, mhaofcc.org is where we can find you. Any other quick way to find you, Kathy, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn, but
Mhm.
I told them earlier I can't spout off my ats, so just do a quick search and you'll find me there.
All right.
But our website has amazing resources for anybody who's looking for help. So
thank you so very much, Glenn and Kathy. You take care, and we look forward to hearing from you some more on this very, very critical topic of helping our children heal through creative expression. Viewers, we want you to take a look at this very, very special clip as we move into our next segment.
I used to just disobey, but now, ever since I picked up this book, I felt like I could do anything, like behave.
Well, you heard it from the co-author himself. It's his life experience. And working with his mom and his mother working with him is why we have the result today. We have the result today of my big notebook. So I want us to right now invite our young man, JC, to come forward along with Miss Q. And we are going to be talking about the health tools for youth. Miss Q is very close to JC. If you were with us at the beginning, you heard Carla speak about this being a family affair. As we have often said in our Afrocentric communities, it takes a village to raise a child, and this village is no different. So Quatavia is a spoken word artist, as you saw on the screen, and she is very, very, very close to JC, and we need all the resources we can have to get on the right track with our children so they end up being fully functional, healed adults. Welcome, Quatavia, Miss Q, and JC.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, Jay, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So we're going to talk like we've been doing. We've come a long, long way since you were 7. How are you feeling? How's this feeling for you being an author now where you can help kids get past so much of what we've come through?
It feels like I'm actually like growing up and like aging even more like than I am right now.
Well, we don't want to rush you to grow up. I want you to be as much of a young man and a kid as possible now that you get to enjoy yourself and enjoy taking part of some of the things that you didn't get to do before we started working with each other. Tell us a little bit about what made you think writing My Big Notebook was going to be a good idea.
So I thought like it was like, so I thought like it would be a good idea to write the notebook is because here's some reasons I could list it.
Okay.
So we got coping skills strategies, we have journaling, we have writing. You can also take notes in there if you want.
Pretty good. Pretty good. What do you think is most useful for little kids with the book? Let's say little kids like 9.
Like drawing.
Okay.
Also, there is some pretty cool stuff like stories about my history.
Is there anything that you want to share about your history so that they understand your background and why it was important for you to be a part of this project with writing My Big Notebook? Letting the people know just a little bit about where you were, especially when I met you 7 years ago. Well, not 7 years ago, when you were 7, because I
Yes.
met you and you were 7 years old. You want to share with the people like how things were versus how they are now?
Yes. So when I was younger, like when I was living with my mom and dad, like it really wasn't like safe for me there, but luckily I found a mom who actually loves me. And I also love her very, very much. We both care for each other. We both have each other's backs.
Awesome.
And also, Miss Q is like a auntie to me.
But
I
thank
think
you.
of her as an aunt. So we have also there's this coping skill is like so you have a triangle. Thoughts, feelings, actions. And about that is like how you feel, how you want to act, but you have to like put that to the side and what should you do? You should do the right thing instead of the wrong thing so you don't get yourself in trouble.
That's right. Because that's the main goal. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble, but we still want to let people know what we're feeling. Do you use My Big Notebook when you're in a space where you might get yourself in trouble?
Not really. It's just that I'm gonna be complete honest.
Well, honesty is the only policy, so we appreciate your honesty.
Sometimes it's like so like I'll close my eyes and think of a wonderful time me and my mom had. So I'll close my eyes and I'll think of the beach when my mom got splashed by a big wave. It was super funny. Like it was like hilarious. So, but I usually love like I really love football at that time. So I would always like truck the water, like lean into it, and then I switched to basketball, and I think uh I really enjoy it. I enjoy sports.
Well,
I
I'm
love
so glad. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. I'm glad that you have so many great new memories that you're making with your mom. Can you give us, like, what do you think the most important part of My Big Notebook is? For all of the parents who are listening, for all of the kids who may be listening, with you being a part of this great big project, what do you think is the most important part of My Big Notebook?
So I think like these like activities you do to calm me down. Like second most is like it's like the thoughts, feelings, and actions. And if you want to think of a memory that you really love, close your eyes, think of it, and just recreate it.
I love
Recreate
that,
good
JC.
memories.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You have come such a long way. We're so excited to see how far you're going to go. You were excellent. We appreciate that you took this energy that you had and did something so that you can help other kids. We have affirmations in My Big Notebook. There's lots of
We
art in
do.
My Big Notebook. So we just think you guys did an awesome job, and we look forward to hearing more from you. Any last words you want to say to the people?
Affirmation. If you don't know what affirmations are,
Teach them, babe.
affirmations are like, I am smart. Like, speak good of yourself. Encourage your self-talk. Like, encourage so you can have a better day each day, and try to make some new ones up. You don't have to use mine, but you can if you need to.
Absolutely.
It is completely available if you need to use mine.
And let's tell everybody needs a My Big Notebook. It's going to help send you to college.
That's right. Everybody. There's
Well, thank you, Jay.
I love it. JC, I love how you spoke up tonight. The first time we met, I know you were acting a little shy. So I am so happy that you are so comfortable sharing your experiences. Miss Q, thank you so much for
you guys for having
working
me.
with JC over these many, many years, because in a child's life, even 2 years is many, many, many years, So I want to thank you for your contribution to my big notebook. And I love the affirmation part, and I love this book. Reason being, not every household knows about these tools to help our children cope. We know because we know. For whatever reason, we have come to know. We specialize in certain areas, so we do know. But for those who don't, this is an excellent tool. And as we heard in the previous segment from Glenn and Kathy, not only for children, but also for adults. So thank you so very much, Miss Q and JC, for your contribution sharing in this section of the virtual event, helping our children heal through creative expression. I personally am a huge fan of such an activity. Being a mother myself, I have seen where creative expression has really, really helped my son grow from strength to strength. And now he's 25. And so we are moving right along, and I sincerely hope that you are enjoying this presentation, but not only enjoying the presentation, but you are being stimulated, motivated, inspired to act. Reach out to us. We are going to give you all the contact information as we go through our program. And also, I'm going to ask you, please submit your questions and comments, no matter where you're watching. Submit your questions and comments, because we're moving right now into our panel discussion. But even before that, I need to tell you about the illustrator of the book. Do you notice how the illustration is almost looking like JC? I love that patch of red in the middle of his head. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And so I want to introduce Quadasia Prescod. She's a painter, sculptor, illustrator, and a teacher, published artist. And she is featured on many murals across the United States of America. And she also was a part of this family unity that made us bring you right now my big notebook. Let's welcome Quadasia Prescod.
Hey.
Good to see you.
You too.
Congratulations on also sharing in the awards that this book has garnered for itself. Did you ever see this coming?
Yes, I won a lot of
I
awards.
love that. Without vision.
Yep. A lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort into putting out something amazing for the kids. And I knew that it would be recognized. I didn't know this big per se this early, but I'm thankful for it.
But there you go. You have received confirmation that this book was so needed. And as we heard earlier, the simplicity, the easy to use aspect of the book, along with the illustrations. Oh, come on. This is awesome. At this point, I want to introduce Carla. Carla, the co-author of the book. And Carla has a fantastic story. When I met Carla first, she was on a news program. And when I saw the story, I said, oh my goodness, I need to interview Carla for my show, Why I Write. And when you listen to Carla, explain her journey towards motherhood and to where we are right now. Absolutely amazing and fantastic. And I love the fact, Carla, that you continue to step forward one step at a time. Let's welcome back to our screen, Carla.
Hello, hello.
Have you been enjoying our show so far?
I have been. I had my fingers and toes crossed with JC, but he did an excellent job, and I should have known that he
Yes, you
would.
should have.
Along with whenever he's with Quatavia, he is the best. He's
That
the
is
best of
so
the best.
great.
So our village is strong, and I'm just so happy to have Quatavia and Quadasia as a huge part of our village.
Awesome. Nice. And we didn't mention that Quadasia and Quadasia and Quatavia are related too. So
Yes.
back to the whole family of
It's my mother.
yes. So you couldn't stay far away from any creative expression. You had to get it. There. So let us bring on back Kathy and Glenn, who are with us earlier, because now we're going to go into our panel discussion.
So what I think we want to do first is I just would like to have a quick chat with Quadasia, because what I think is so important is that we recognize. So let me just share one of the reasons I wanted to do this show is that I wanted to include the people who have come into my life and who have brought expression through art to my life, who have, so while I always use journaling of some sort, whether it's putting notes on my iPhone or writing in a journal or whatever that looks like, but I didn't look at it as creative expression. Once I met Quatavia and then her daughter, Quadasia, it really opened my eyes up to the freedom and inspiration of art as expression. And I've seen that in JC's life, how he uses art to express. And whether we've done music therapy with him, and he found such pleasure in it just to get his feelings out. Early on, we had a therapist, Janice, who I love so much, and Janice got him to rap about his feelings. And it was something that resonated with him. And so I wanted Quadasia, I wanted you to come on and just share a little bit about your experiences using art and creativity to express yourself, and how you've been able to do that with the children you support and have in your life as well.
Okay. Well, I think if we bring it, we got to bring it all the way back to my name. What my mother named me was Quadasia, and that means divine inspiration. And what she always told me growing up was, I give her life, I give her purpose, I give her all of the goodness in the world that she would like to see. And I think having that as my backbone helps create, or helps make that creator for me. So I think going from there on to making and doing all of the different things and having the support system that I do have, I was able to branch out and decide that I have to do this for others as well. So I think being a part of this book was most definitely a great way of being able to extend another branch to more children.
Thank you for that. And I just have to say, Quadasia means so much to me just personally. Not only did she illustrate this book, but also she's helped me personally, whether you know this or not, my dear, to express myself in ways that I just couldn't even imagine. And I just want to say, just talking to, oh, yes, I love you. I'm talking to caregivers who are on the call, just to say to you that there comes a point, I think, in every parent or caregiver's life that we are running on empty. And while we may have, like, it took me so long to become a mom, and, I became JC's mom, and then here I am like, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm like out of resources. I'm exhausted. I don't know like how to move forward and support my child who is had a lot of really bad experiences in his young life. So how do I do that? And so with a healthy village that I continue to build and grow, I've been able to take my moments to exhale, take my moments to focus on and take care of myself. And I think that if I can impress anything upon our viewers, is to make sure that you are taking that time for yourself. Because if you're not doing that, it's very difficult to take care of anyone else. And that includes your kids. As much as you may love your kids, hey, they can wear us out. And so one thing that I loved, and I've had several parents tell me about my big notebook, is like, hey, in fact, just in the spirit of full disclosure, there are some stressful moments putting on a TV show, right? Producing a show, executive directing it. And I had some moments, and one of the producers said, Carla, square breathe. Square breathing is in the book. It's here in the book. And this is a picture of JC square breathing, because he was so stressed out. And square breathing is nothing but, inhaling for 4 or 5, exhaling for 4 or 5. But it's just for a kid, doing it as a square gives them some type of purpose and exercise, and it also helps them with sensory, right? It helps them with movement. All of those things help our children cope. And so for me, I may or may not do the square, but trust and believe I'm doing the deep breathing. I am doing that. And the other thing that I wanted to just talk to you, Quadasia, about is, all of the book for me is important. But one thing this is my favorite graphic from the book, and it's JC and I, and it's the introduction to illustrations. To affirmations, sorry. And I just wanted to talk to you about the little touches that Quadasia put in the book. Like, this is our little dog, and this is us, and this is such a typical setting, but can we talk a little bit, Quadasia, about how affirmations help us, just even as adults?
How affirmations help us? It's how you talk to yourself. I think affirmations directly affects your self-esteem, and self-esteem directly affects how you move in the world. So when we talk about affirmations, it's a necessity. It's very much a necessity. How you speak to yourself and how you talk to others are always going to go hand in hand. And you want to make sure that you are rooting for you first every day.
Yes. And the thing that I want to share about the affirmations is that I certainly have JC say his affirmations on a daily basis, but I do my own as well, because there are times like when I'm in that car line, dropping him off in the morning and I'm stressed out. Like, I just have to give myself a pep talk. Like, I've got this, I can do this. But when I say it's I in quotes, because I have a village of support. And for that, I am super, super thankful. It's really important. And I've taken this decade of experience now and come up with ways to support other parents and caregivers along their journey. Because one thing that I had to learn early on is that I wasn't alone in this struggle. And no one is really alone in the struggle, although we may feel that way, especially if we have a child with special needs or a child that is just going through some extra stress. A lot of times we feel alone. And I have taken the time to say, like, I know these are my strengths, but I have some areas that I could either improve on, or maybe I just don't have the skill set, period. So I don't mind raising my hand and asking for help. And like I said, if I can impart anything on you as a caregiver, as a parent, as a friend of someone with a child, take the time to take care of yourself. And so I wanted to just share really quickly that I am offering a free one-on-one consultation with interested people. And I can share with you about my new coaching program, which is out now as of today. This is the announcement. So I'm doing one-on-one coaching based on my big notebook, but also some other things you saw on the screen just a moment ago. That I have a new book coming out called The Compassionate Companion, and it's to help parents and caregivers who are dealing with a child that's experienced some type of trauma. And so we'll talk about that a little more as we go. I'm going to turn it back to Totlyn. Quadasia, thank you so much for your insight as always.
Thank you for having me.
I think you're on mute, Totlyn.
That's how engaged I was, because I just want to hear more. I want to continue being an audience member because I think that this is so critical. This is helping me personally as an individual, as a mother. And I'm going back through my own childhood and I'm like, okay, so I just didn't need to be tough right there. I just needed to be held. Okay, I get it. I'm serious. It's this serious. It is this serious, and I'm so happy that we are all having this conversation. Thank you so much, Quadasia, for your illustrative acumen and magic. Like I said, great captures, and it has a good feel. I love this. It has a good feel, and I can see many parents. So I'm urging you, you're watching. If you know parents, especially new parents to be, reach out to them and let them know that this resource is available. And also the resource that Carla is offering right now, free one-on-one coaching. This is something you need to grasp. Thank you so much, Patterson Education Fund. Thank you so much, Rosie Grant, the founder of Patterson Education Fund in New Jersey. I'm going to invite you right now. Submit your questions and comments, because at this time, we're going to bring back our mental health advocate and founder, Glenn Proctor, to our screen. We're going to bring back Kathy Rogers, our Executive Director of Mental Health America. And we are also going to bring back Quatavia Jones, who is a behavior modification specialist. And Carla will be back on screen with us as we discuss some of your questions that you have for us. So first of all, we did touch on this, but what are some of the signs that our children, my child, might have stressed? The child is stressed out. Anybody can take that question.
So I'll start off and just say that if you notice that your child is quick to anger or withdrawn, or just a major shift in behavior, if they're, so an example with JC would be when he's extra clingy or he's very short-tempered. I know that he's stressed out. He may not even be able to express himself verbally. I think he's gotten a lot better at it over time. But there are times when kids are not necessarily even connected to their feelings. They may not know what they're feeling is stress. But what I would say is a couple of things to look for would be changes, major changes in behavior. A major shift. If they're really outgoing, you see them being more withdrawn. If they're more quiet, and you see them being a little more clingy and attached. I think it's different for each child, but those are just some examples. And I think, Quatavia, you had some examples as well.
Well, you touched on a lot of things that I would look for. I'd look for bedwetting. I'd look for their attitudes and their energy. You know, when kids can't speak or won't speak verbally, you can feel them. Your babies come home, if this is a kid that's normally happy when they're coming home from school and you see a shift, you know, maybe not to pry, but to let them know that I see you, you're here, you're available. Talk to me at any time, that I'm always here. And if I'm not here, I will stop what I'm doing so that you can let me know what's going on. At my house, we did open forums. You know, I'm a mother. My oldest is 29, and I have a couple of children under my belt that weren't birthed by me, but we did open forums where they were allowed to say, look, I need to be able to say whatever I need to say without fear of consequence. And I think that got me through a lot of years and a lot of hard times where they knew that home was a safe place.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
Kathy.
also think that a lot of times a mental health issue like anxiety and stress will manifest themselves in a physical way. You know, a headache or a stomach ache or things like that can often be a sign that your child is experiencing some stress and, you know, I don't feel good. I don't want to go to school. So we'll just throw that out there as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Here's another very powerful question. And I say it's powerful because I have been here. Seriously. And that question is from a parent. I'm wiped out. I'm totally knocked out. I have to be doing everything. How can I really help my child when I am stressed out?
So I'll start on that one. So I say, even if it's 10 minutes in your bathroom, take some minutes to breathe and to refresh. And again, ask for help, let help in. We can't be all things to our children if we are running on an empty tank. And so we have to take time for ourselves.
Any other recommendations? Yes, Kathy.
Well, we know that when we fly, that flight attendant tells us to put that oxygen mask on ourselves before we put it on our child. And it's the same self-care is not selfish. It is what is allowing us to take care of those around us. So just as Carla said, just finding a little bit of time to just take some deep breaths and time for ourselves is important so that those around us, we can take care of them as well. So.
Definitely. Glenn, you wanted to add to that?
Well,
I saw you applauding, Kathy.
Well, basically, over the last couple of years, self-care has become an absolute necessity because everyone is feeling something. And if we as adults are feeling it, it's tenfold with kids, with our kids. So self-care is an absolute must. We have to step away. It was mentioned earlier about, those of us who train, we have to step away. Parents have to step away and understand when you're feeling something. Carla is using one of my pet statements about, if you feel something, say something. I think she stole that from me, but yeah, that's it. And if we can get our kids to do that, if they feel something, to say something, that'll help us get on the road to helping them. But as adults, we have to do it as well.
Definitely.
Carla, I love JC, his expression of his love for you and knowing that you love him. So if our kids are secure in that, they'll be okay if you take 10 minutes, and say, mommy's still here for me. And just, being reassuring in that love. That was just beautiful from him.
That was very nice.
Right.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And one of the things I'd like to ask the panel, or what do you think, and anyone can take this, what do you think of, as parents, we do not place world expectations on our children? Here's what I mean by this. Oh, you're a boy. You should be tough. You shouldn't cry. Or, come on, girls don't fight. Why are you upset? How do you feel about this?
Well, I don't believe in gender roles with the kids. They get to be as free and fluid as they want to be. We have little things like, so I guess that is gender roles, because my girls don't take out garbage, right? But it doesn't mean that they can't pick up garbage. They can get it together. We work as a unit, and that's if it's 7 kids, or I'm single, or if it's just me, like Carla and Jay. I think building a team. Carla and Jay need to know that they're a team. JC needs to know that mom's on his team, but he's also on mom's team. So whatever roles the parents decide, this is what our part in the house is going to be, then that's what it is. And boys can cry and they can have emotions, and girls can feel tough and want to be protective. If that's how it works at our house, then that's how it works.
I think that, I guess, my parting statement would be, we created My Big Notebook to help children with expression. And so at the end of the day, boy, girl, whatever, our kids need to have outlets to express themselves. And I think we've learned enough at this point about mental health to know that we can't be bound by those back in the day statements, suck it up, take that, look off your face. Well, I may still say that one every now and then, but I think that we know enough now that we know that kids have to get feelings out, because when we stuff our feelings down, it will come out one way or the other, whether it's physical, mental, emotional. It's going to come out, and probably not in a healthy way. So with that, Totlyn, I'll turn it back over to you to wrap us up. And I just want to thank you to everyone on the panel. So Totlyn, over to you.
Right. Thank you so very much. I want to quickly thank Kathy Rogers, JC Carlisle, Glenn Proctor, Quadasia Prescod, Quatavia Jones, and of course, Carla, for hosting this very special event. It's very important for me to let you know that you can grab a copy of My Big Notebook at Amazon.com. Just search My Big Notebook, Carla Carlisle and JC Carlisle, and you will be able to grab yourself several copies. These books are a must in your home, in your community, in your school. And if you need to find out more about how you can work with any member of our panel, and especially Carla, reach out to Carla. It is info@carlacarlisle.com. So that is INFO at Carla Carlisle, Carla A. Carlisle. Don't forget the A. All right, I'm seeing an extra A here. So I hope the right one is on the screen. So that's info@carlacarlisle.com. Thank you so much for being a part of this very special virtual event surrounding this award-winning book. You heard from the experts right now. You heard from the experts and the writers and the authors, the intentions and the objectives of this extremely important, resourceful tool. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share. Pass the message on. We are on a mission to help our children heal through creative expression. Until next time, I have been your host, Totlyn Oliver. Take care.